Ben Fishman from Deschutes Law Group. And we actually have a guest here tonight too that we will talk about and introduce and hear from a little bit later. So with that, first thing we have to do is approve the agenda. We made one change to the agenda during the work session, which is we pulled the original item 3D on the TCD policy on construction change orders. We pulled that for separate action immediately following the consent agenda. But there were no other changes. So if that's okay, I would need a motion to approve the agenda as I just described.
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, moved by Betsy,
Second.
seconded by David. So we'll vote on that. Betsy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Marianne?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. So we've got our agenda approved here. That then takes us to the consent agenda. We have 3 items remaining on consent tonight. We have their work session and meeting minutes from last month. We have our monthly financial report, which we received from Susan last week by email. And we have the addendum to the Conservation Commission contract, a little extra money for us that we weren't counting on. So with that, I need a motion on consent.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Moved by David and seconded by Betsy. So we will vote on that motion to approve consent. David?
Aye.
Betsy?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Marianne?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We've approved that. So that brings us to the item we pulled from consent, which is the TCD policy 4.6.1, the construction change order. And David, I think you have a motion on that.
I have a motion to accept this policy applicable to the Riverbend project only. Some additional comments from Ben as well. Let's get
a second on the motion. So is there a second to David's motion?
I second.
I'll second.
Okay, you're third, Doug. We got a second from Betsy there. Now, Ben, your comments.
The idea here is that we need this in place quickly so that we have it in place for Riverbend. If we decide to adopt the policy, the general policy as written, a motion to amend the policy to just strike the words applicable as to the Riverbend policy only will make it a general policy. If there is a changes needed before we make a general policy, similarly, a motion that says applicable to the Riverbend project only can be stricken, and those additional changes can be made to the body of the text, and then it gets approved. But this gets us in place for Riverbend. So we have it in place for Riverbend. It also might, if there are things that happen on Riverbend in the next month, give us a chance to test run some of the process so that we have that data when it comes time to have a general policy. So that could be a valuable experience if it happens. But this is why we've made the change to it as we have.
Okay, great. Any questions on that before we take a vote? Okay, then we will vote on the motion that David made. So David?
Aye.
Betsy?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Marianne?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We have approved that policy 4.6.1. That brings us to public comment. This is the point at which any member of the public can address the board for up to 3 minutes on a topic that's on their mind that might also be relevant, hopefully is relevant to the work of the district. I don't believe we have any members of the public here with us tonight. But I will say, does anybody wish to make public comments? Hearing none, I will close public comment. And we will move on to the next item here, partner reports. Josh sent us an email, said he was not able to be here today. He's on a field tour, I believe in Cowles County or somewhere. Anyway, he's on a field tour with another conservation district, so he's not here tonight. So no report from the Conservation Commission.
Mr.
Doug?
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I attended the Vancouver meeting of the commission, so if you want, I can give it a report on that.
Go for it. If you have something to say, let's do it.
Okay, on the 17th, there was a Clark CD tour of their nursery, riparian plantings, horse stables, and a venue where they have farming with catering and farm demonstrations. And I suggested, based on my experience at the TJ Johnson farm, that they might want to get some bands out there once in a while. Thought that was a good thing. So that was the tour. It was very educational. On the 18th was the business meeting. The high points were there was a two-tier budget approach. One was with the climate funding that's tentative now, and one without. So they're going to decide really after the climate change money gets here or not. On the riparian grant program, the commission was directed 5 months ago to include a tribal component. Commissioner Williams, who by the way is a member of the Tulalip tribe, brought up essentially that nothing has been done so far within this year timeframe that they were given. And he made a motion to not move forward until that's done. The motion was not successful. And the last item is King CD is going to a geographic zones approach for its members. So we'll see what happens there. Franklin CD down in the southeast corner of the state is the only other CD with zones. That's it.
Sure.
Got some clarifying language around the riparian grant program, which is a monumental amount of investment from our state to districts to do riparian enhancement work. It's a huge grant. Our districts have across the board have been staffing up for many years to get the capacity to accommodate the anticipated influx of funding, and now it's here. And so grants were awarded earlier this year. There was an oversight in the way as the commission changed leadership in going through the process that the budget proviso requires in having appropriate types of tribal consultation and engagement in creating that program. The commission is working to remedy that and has given direction to staff for a series of meetings to take place to figure that out at the state level. There were a lot of comments and concerns. There was a lot of reaction from that motion that was made to cut all of that funding off for the entire state after those awards have been made to districts and work is underway. So it would halt a lot of riparian work. What that motion did though is create conversation. It was also really recognized that districts at the district level work hand in hand largely with their tribal partners and are setting priorities and working together on accomplishing projects. And so there was this misstep at the commission level that was recognized, and they're working on fixing that issue, and that districts are doing great work and engaging tribes more than ever, in part due to the funding that we have available to do that. So it was a very important discussion that happened at the commission meeting.
Thank you for the additional info there.
I think Daryl felt a little marginalized and not taken seriously. But I think he understood kind of the changeover in the administration at the commission and all, but he wanted to see some progress, and nothing basically had been made. In my estimation, as a former staffer for a state agency, the staff should have made sure that the executive director knew that that was a priority. But stuff happens.
Okay, thank you both for that update. Then that moves us still with you, Doug, WACD and NACD update.
Yeah, I did provide an NACD update, but I wanted to wait till after our WACD meeting last week before submitting some. And I will send this to Sophia after I get done, so she'll have my speaking notes to incorporate into the meeting notes. WACD's Legal Services Fund is continuing this year. It'll give access to legal counsel for conservation district business. It's also launching a new program to provide IT support. They're looking at getting the IT support out of Olympia Computer. I'm not familiar with that particular business. Third item, Endurus is affiliating with Associated Industries to provide Endurus members access to HR services. I think, to me, most of those three are oriented towards districts that don't have their act together, as well as our executive director has got our act together. Fourth item, the board of directors approved the annual plan of work for FY 24-25 and the budget at the BOW meeting in June. So onward and upward. And lastly, planning for the 2024 annual conference is underway. And that's going to be in Airway Heights right after Thanksgiving, as it usually is. And that's it.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Any questions, Doug?
Where's Airway Heights?
Spokane suburb, just to the west of Spokane, by Fairchild Air Force Base, believe it or not.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ben. That moves us on to the next item here, WACD Southwest Area Director Candidate Application. So this was a new one for me, in that we get to appoint this director. And I think the official language is it would be appointed by me and Sarah and Betsy, but I suggested we put this on for the full board and take action here. And we invited Bruce McDonald, who is that candidate in question, to come up and introduce himself. So welcome, and maybe just a couple minutes of who you are and why you want to do this.
Well, I'm not sure. Tell the truth, because Ryan was looking for somebody and he said, you want to try this out for, there's an obligation of a meeting in October. What do you think? And I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So
Low bar.
yeah, that was a little hard. So, and then when I talked to him, he said he had ulterior motives that maybe he won't be looking for me for longer. But yeah, so I am Bruce McDonald, and I'm on the Lewis County Conservation District Board. I've been there for about a year and a half. I retired from forestry, so I had like a 40-year forestry career. Ended up at Joint Base Lewis McCord. I worked 25 years for Department of Natural Resources, so 15 in forest regulation, forest practices, and 10 in their state lands program. And then I actually worked as a wildland firefighter on a hot shot crew for 10 years before that, Western Montana. And then, but earlier than that, even, this is really reaching back. But as a kid, I worked on truck farms in North Carolina, growing tobacco and tomatoes. And actually in Maine, I worked on an organic farm in 1976. So when I went to the farmer's market and they told me nobody wanted a $3 potato, but things have changed. So you can sell a $3 potato now. Hopefully that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I just started, so I have two plots of land, one in Grace Harbor County, one in Lewis County, and those are my tree farms. Me and my wife own them. And, they're just regular, timber harvest. That's what they're set up for. And we have all the issues that people do. So I'm not really familiar with farming animals as much. I'm not really familiar with coastal issues as far as the seafood goes. I'm more familiar with forestry. But I'm willing to learn stuff. I believe in family farms on the landscape. I think organic is okay, but I like a mix. I'm a licensed pesticide applicator. And so, I kind of go towards that because of production issues. If you go organic, your production goes down, even though your prices might go up, but whatever. And to keep it important not to hurt all the land to houses, and keep it in farms. And I think local food production is a good thing. I used to read about food as a weapon, and I think it is. But I also believe in, small family businesses taking care of the seafood industry and timber harvest and local food production. So that's kind of my deal in a nutshell.
Yeah, it seems like a resume that is worthy of appointing you so you can attend one meeting. So with that, we need a motion to approve Bruce as the Southwest Area Director.
So moved.
Moved by David. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Betsy. So we will vote on that motion now. David,
Aye.
Betsy,
Aye.
Doug,
Hi,
Marianne?
Aye.
And I vote aye too, so congratulations. You're official, at least through October.
Yeah, it's right there. That's good. And Doug, I met you at the conference over in Wenatchee last year.
Oh, now that I can see you, yeah, I can see that. Welcome, fellow forester.
Yes, great, great. Thank you.
Well, I think it's a good approach that you can try out the system for a month and kind of see what's going on. And if you want to talk, I'm a former area director, so I could answer questions if you have any.
Oh, that'd be helpful. Thank you. I think I'll give you a buzz.
Great.
Welcome aboard.
Contact info before you leave, because I have a question for you outside of this.
Oh, certainly, sure.
Okay, great. Okay, with that then, we'll move to the next item on our agenda here, which is our mid-year budget review, unrestricted budget. Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. I'll give a little overview, and then if you wanna pull up the document that was shared with you and look at that more in detail, we can. Every year we do a look back at our unrestricted budget. Our restricted budget is all of our contractual grant obligations, so those are pretty well set marching orders, and those don't typically change a ton from year to year. We might get new grants that the board approves, but the ones that we've had prior are staying. So we look at our unrestricted budget in particular because that can change, right? We want to look at our revenue that we were anticipating. Has that changed? We want to look at where our expenses are landing and kind of make sure that we are on track for those. So we had some good surprises with our mid-year budget. One was we had some new implementation funding, right? We were successful in the supplemental session and getting some more CTA funding. And so that it has increased the amount of grant revenue that we're anticipating. So you probably saw that in the revenue section. It's all negatives and red numbers, but that means positive revenue. So we were really excited to get about $75,000 through the Conservation Commission there. We put together a really conservative budget this year, moving into a new space and trying to understand what our new expenses will be in a new space. And so staff has put together recommendations for how to include that new funding from the State Conservation Commission into our mid-year unrestricted budget. One of the really exciting ones is adding funding back into our reserve funds. So we propose to be very conservative this year and not put any additional funding into our reserves. And so I'm really pleased to say that part of this funding, half of this funding, we're proposing to put into our reserves. So both our reserve fund that helps with cash flow management, as well as a little bit of funding into our CEC development. Certainly up for discussion of the board. Of course, that's staff recommendation as we're doing more and more large scale projects. We want to be really diligent about our cash flow management, of course. We also had a 10% reduction in our program allocation. So all of our strategic plan priorities become program allocations. And we cover lots of gaps where we don't have grant funding for any particular need, or there aren't grants out there that cover the things we want to do. So at the beginning of the year, we took a 10% cut from our historic funding levels for those. And so we've added 5% back to those that we had cut prior, which is really needed, particularly in our services category, our equipment rental and our soil testing services. Those just continue every year to explode with community interest and demand. Those are the big ticket items for in terms of changes for this year. And also accounting for, let's see, accounting for wrapping up all of our tenant improvement pieces. So as you remember, we paid for that out of our reserve right up front. And so this is us making that whole and making that reserve fund whole there. So are there any questions about that? Would you like to look at any documents? I can pull things up on the screen or answer questions if you'd like.
Questions for Sarah?
I don't have any.
No?
As often is the case, I have a question that's maybe only indirectly related to this. Because I had a question about the financial notes from Susan.
Okay.
Could I ask that?
Yes, absolutely. That's
I
totally
don't
related.
understand what this means. As a billable organization, an organization whose income is derived from the reimbursement of actual expenses. As expenses drop, so does income. The drop in income may be a result of project scheduling. No, that's not what I, no. Oh, no, sorry. It's in part A, sorry. This year, the district has slowed invoicing the program, the Sentinel Landscape Program, to ensure enough funds remain to continue the project through June 2028. What does that mean? That's affected our income and we've slowed invoicing them. So it reduces our income in order to,
So I think what she's probably saying in that section is that, so we get a variety of grants, right, to do the work that we do. It's not that we are incurring expenses and not invoicing. I can see how that would sound that way. But the rate of invoicing might be lower, what you're experiencing might be lower than historic, and that's if we have multiple grants that fund the similar type of work, right? We will bill more heavily to the grants that run out of money first. And the grants that have the longest tenure, we will slow invoicing on those so that we make sure we don't leave any grant money on the table. So if we have two grants and one ends in June and one ends in December, and they both cover technical assistance to landowners, we will definitely spend heavily and invoice on the one that ends in June 1st. And then that way we'll have the remainder of the year to focus our billing on the one that ends in December.
okay. I sort of get it. Okay,
Imagine it as 3D chess. It's a constant shell game of 25 staff, and I don't even know how many grants we have at this moment, but and so we're always looking at levels, and we've got a huge budget calculator with all kinds of algorithms behind it, where every person down to every hour, down to every dollar is calculated. And so we can see rates of spending for all grants and every person and make sure that we're zeroing out everything and we're meeting all the deliverables.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for me, the takeaway from that is we don't leave no money on the table. We don't miss using full amounts of money we've already been awarded.
Right.
Yeah.
but somehow this reduces our income.
In that particular grant.
Okay, thank you.
And for this period.
Okay, any other questions on this? Are we ready to take an action? I think Sarah's recommending that the board approve the staff recommendation on these budget adjustments as she just described. We'll need a motion to do that. We'll need a motion to do that.
I move to approve the proposed budget.
I'll
For-
second.
The proposed
I don't have the
budget,
words in front
the
of me
proposed
here.
budget adjustments.
Yes.
I think that was why all of this was.
Unrestricted budget update.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, it's been moved by Betsy, seconded by Mary Ann. Let's take a vote on that. And to be clear, the vote is on approving the staff recommendation on the mid-year unrestricted budget adjustments. Okay,
Yeah, or can I add, or something like that?
or something like that. Sure, why not? All right, let's vote.
Aye.
Betsy, Mary Ann,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. That has been approved. Next item up here is State Conservation Commission budget letter of support. So they sent that email out looking for districts to support the budget request. I guess the message came from WACD requesting that we support the commission budget. And we could have just written that letter, but I ask Sarah that we put it on this agenda tonight and we take a formal board action so that it's clear that the board is behind this for whatever that's worth versus just a letter from our director. So I think you've all had a chance to see what the commission's approving. And so we'll just need to have a motion to take action to write that letter, which will be prepared for my signature.
And I so move before Betsy does.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's been moved by Doug. We'll need a second, seconded by David. We'll vote on that motion then. Doug,
aye.
David,
Aye.
Betsy,
Aye.
Mary, and chair votes aye as well. So we can go ahead and draft that letter and just let me know when it's ready for signature and we'll get it off.
Will do.
That
Thank
takes us to the last item here, which is just taking a look at what's coming up next month, August 27th. Put that up here. All right, so there we go. Work session up first there. We're gonna have the other TJ, who I often get emails for, talk to us about the restoration crew showcase. And then another community partner presentation, hopefully, and then our standing update of CEC. So I think we agreed to put something else on there earlier tonight, which was the issue that Marianne raised about comprehensive plan changes, housing in rural lands.
Yes.
So we will put that up there. And we will get some background material on that before
I'll
the
do
meeting.
best I can. You
Something.
betcha. I
Yeah,
will.
great.
Mhm.
Okay. So is anything else at this point we need to change on the work session?
We
I'm
have a
just curious-
standing
oh.
Riverbend item too that needs to be added.
Oh, yeah, the Riverbend Ranch. Yeah.
I was just thinking maybe it might be nice, you know, we moved about 6 months ago. Maybe just get an update of how the move has been, you know, if any positive changes, maybe, you know, a new location, maybe we've seen more people cross through the doors.
The
Yeah.
clock doesn't work.
Yeah.
I updated it. Okay.
Well, and in addition to that, it might be like, what else do we want to do for this space? Because we've talked about signage and
Yeah.
stuff, and it'd be good to get an update on signage
Yeah.
too. Yeah, so let's put that in.
Sure.
It was easy to find though. I found it easy.
MapQuest brings you right here.
Okay, so that's our work session, and let's take a look at the proposed board meeting agenda. Very standard stuff that we see every month there. Is there anything placeholders if we need it? And
Presumably our non-provisional change order.
change order policy might
Policy.
be there.
And I think the executive session would not be to discuss litigation, it would be to discuss acquisition of real estate.
This is just the placeholder for executive session, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it
Just
it will be a
making-
different reason.
Yeah, let's just
I
make a
don't know
note
of
of that potential real estate. Just so we know what we would potentially be looking at. So,
And a different RCW too.
Yeah.
yes,
I'll
different
put it in
subsection
later.
anyway.
Same section, different subsection.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'd
we'll,
like to see a quickie discussion of how the Thurston County Fair went. Some of us will be working that, and it would be good to find out how it went. I'm thinking like 5 minutes maybe.
okay, let's put that on the work session, kind of a fair wrap up.
Okay,
Unless
is
you want it
also-
public facing.
I don't think we need it for the public. I think it's more the people who couldn't be at the fair.
This is also a good time to start talking about WACD resolution ideas too for the Southwest area meeting.
Okay, that we probably should put on the board meeting agenda. So under that second placeholder we had there, let's put WACD resolutions. Because those area meetings are in September?
October.
Okay, October.
I
So
think
we
we're
have,
looking at, so we'll be hosting ours and we're looking
Yeah.
at October
10th, I think.
10th,
Yeah.
12th.
10th is what it says here.
10th.
Yeah, okay. And location on that, where will that be? Do we know yet?
We do not, we are working on
Okay.
finding appropriate space
Okay.
for our size.
Okay, good. All right, okay, so we've got tentative agenda and work session topic list for next month. That takes us to the last item on tonight's agenda, which is we need a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
Moved by David,
I'll second it.
seconded by Betsy. Motion to adjourn. Vote, David.
Aye.
Betsy,
Aye.
Doug,
I,
Marianne,
Hi.
and I vote aye.
Hello.
That means we are finished here. It's now 7 o'clock. A very efficient 30-minute meeting there for all of us. So thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah.
see you all in August. I almost said September, August. And some of you at the fair potentially.